Bang, we're live here talking a little UFC action, fight night. We got Lewis versus TEIXEIRA, two-man booth here on the Rump Your Sports YouTube channel, and got my man Dan back with me to talk the fights. Dan had a little week break, but we're ready to get back and talk some UFC, thankfully, this weekend. How you doing here on this Saturday morning?
I'm doing great, man. A week off of doing the content is always nice, but I'm ready to get back to violence. And it looks like we're going to get plenty of violence. We're going to get some heavyweight violence. I think we're finally going to get a heavyweight knockout, the first one since March. So I'm excited for that. I'm always excited for a Derek Lewis fight night, man. Like, that's always a good time.
Yeah, you can't beat a Derek Lewis fight night. I mean, or Derek Lewis being on the card just in general, right? You know you're going to get or an attempt at trying to knock someone's head off. And we got two dudes who, I mean, I think that's going to be their end game. Their end goal is to just see who punches, see who has that last punch, Dan, that last finishing knockout punch. But it should be a fun card. I agree with you. I think we're going to see a lot of violence. And interesting for DFS because you got, some highly priced chicks on this card, which, just in general, people don't like to roster the 9,900, 9,500 women's favorites just for whatever reason, biases, whatever. But we'll get to that because this show is pro when it comes to spending up on low-level women's fights. So that we'll get to those fights, and should be interesting to talk it up here. Anything else, on this card before we get into it?
Yeah, I mean, this upper 9K range, the whole 9K range is just absolutely loaded. So, like, the last few weeks, we've had some, I believe, like, Jacoby Smith was 9,900 the other week, but there was nobody else really in that 9K range. So, not much opportunity cost there. You could easily jam him. You got to be a little more thoughtful with how you allocate in this upper 9K range this week. Tons of opportunity cost, tons of finishing upside, all in this range. So yeah, I think the move this week, like it is most weeks, is just a barbell approach again. Like, people are going to go to the safety of the mid-range, but I think with all of these like high ceiling options in the top range of salary, like, I think you could even just have a loser in the winner tonight. Like, maybe Lauren Murphy goes to decision and scores like 30 in a loss, but she's 6,700, and she allows you to jam Mike Davis and Klein and Petrina. I think that's going to be the key to the slate, is being able to just jam as many of these high upside, top of the salary guys as you can.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you here. We got a bunch of people in the chat. Ashton Kusher, what's up? Andy, what's going on? Boy, Uncle T. CTK, shh.
Who's in the
Wiley, unbelievable. Deprez, make sure you guys DM Deprez and get on him about the thumbnail. Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I did notice that too, but I was just kind of glossing over it. I was just like, whatever. We got Showboat King. What's going on, Showboat King?
Dude, they cut Jairzinho, which was fucking crazy, honestly. But
that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. My boy Dub KJ, no Chiefs talk, but we got some fights, so we're ready to roll here. Dan, let's get into the fights here. And first fight of the night, we got exactly what I was referring to. Fatima Klein, one of the biggest favorites on this card here, versus Melissa Martinez. Fatima Klein, 9,900 in DFS, a pretty big price tag here, versus Melissa Martinez, 6,300. The cheapest fighter on the card and the most expensive fighter on the card. We do have a few other cheap fighters and pretty expensive fighters, Dan, but Fatima Klein sitting like a minus 1,350 favorite over on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. We were talking about in the Discord, and it's one of my favorite bets of the day. I mean, not to just give it out, I should have held it until the end of the show, but Fatima Klein sitting at minus 115 to win inside the distance on DraftKings. On other books, we've seen it as high as minus 140. I think it's a pretty good line if you're betting over on DraftKings. Check that line out, minus 115. I already bet it. It's definitely one of my favorite bets on the day. But for DFS purposes, Dan, 9,900 for Fatima Klein. What's the ownership looking like with her specifically, seeing as we have a lot of 9K fighters on the card? Is her ownership going to be suppressed a little bit because of that big price tag? What are you doing?
Yeah, I would guess so. Also just people's kind of not wanting to play women's MMA. I've got her projected for 20% right now, which feels a little high, but I started building this morning and it's not. I have some dogs that I really like. Like I like Max Griffin. I like Derek Lewis, obviously, Tokos, and even Austin Lane to an extent. So you can fit her in. You just have to play some of these dogs down here. I'm probably going to get over 20%, but it's a little dicey because I think I'm not really concerned whether she wins or loses. I'm fairly certain she's going to win inside the distance, but if she does it too efficiently, which is like always the problem with especially grapplers, like if she just takes her down and submits her real quick outside of the first minute, then what do you get? You're getting like 95, 110 maybe. And that's not going to do it on this slate. So I think ideally you want a quick win bonus, which it could happen, but it's a little harder to, lock up a submission in the first minute than it is to just knock someone out. And I think she'll win by submission. So I think what ideally you would want is probably like a full 2 rounds of domination on the mat, her just like really smashing her, and then getting like a buzzer beater type finish. Maybe even like the same thing in round 3 could work. 120s, around 130 for that would be great. So yeah, I'm going to play her. She's got a ton of upside. She's really expensive. But again, I've got dogs that I like that's going to make it not too difficult to fit her. The main issue is just opportunity cost. It's like you've got Klein, Davis, Petrino, Mora, Bonfim, like all of them could smash. So it really just comes down to, do you like other people here better? I think I prefer Davis and Petrino and Bonfim to her. Just price consideration mostly, but they have similar upside. I mean, like Petrino's got the best finishing odds up here, so he's probably going to be my number 1 option. But yeah, I mean, fit her where you can. I wouldn't shy away from her just because of the price tag.
Yeah, and I think this comes back to like which you talk about a lot, which is like the ownership in the gap with some of these fighters. And like I do think if she's coming in at 20%, Dan, even around there, whether it's a little lower than that, just a little higher, but in that kind of range, I want to get way over on her, honestly. Like 20% seems low because she is going to be the better fighter no matter where this fight is. She's going to be the better striker. She's going to have more power. She's going to be the better grappler and wrestler. And she can dominate in the grappling. And I think she can dominate, honestly, on the feet, too, just with her power. I mean, she was hurting Jasmine on the feet. And not that Jasmine's like the greatest striker ever, but Jasmine's tough. And she was like forcing Jasmine to wrestle.
Yeah, like, Klein's striking has looked greatly improved. Like pretty much every time we've seen her, she's also training with, and I hear dating Erin Blanchfield. So, you know, she's getting in good work in and out of the gym.
So if she's training with Erin Blanchfield, you know that wrestling and grappling is gonna be on par, and I think that's where she dominates. I think she can get this to the ground whenever she wants. Yeah. And I mean, she did take down Jasmine in the beginning of that fight. She just lost on a scramble, which is not going to happen with Melissa Martinez. Melissa Martinez is not out scrambling Klein here. So I just think the question's going to be, does like 110, 115, can that win? Can that? Maybe not. You never know. But if I'm getting the ownership discount from the women's DFS, the lower, they're not as good inside the distance number, I'll take my shot on Klein. So she's going to be one of my higher owned fighters here on the card, and someone that I'm definitely going to be in on. I'm out on Melissa Martinez. Just not. I just don't even see a path where she wins. Maybe she could. I don't even think she's a point fighter. I don't even think she could point fight her, to be honest with you, because I think Klein's just going to be able to close the distance and eventually wrap her up. And once she gets a hold of her, I think this fight goes to the ground. So yeah, I don't even see it with Melissa. Do you have any Melissa Martinez, or is she a fade for you?
I probably have like 5%, but I mean at the moment, but she's pretty close to a fade for me. The only thing is she's 6,300. So like there's worlds where she goes out there, scores like 10 points or scores 0 points, but she allows you to just jam all these super high upside, like upper 9K people. Like I'm not really going to chase that. I just think it's possible on this. Like she is so cheap. I prefer Mitch Ramirez like right above her. So they'll probably keep referring to her. I just don't see this one being competitive like at all. But again, like 6,300, you're kind of getting into this pricing where it's like, what if Klein comes out there, like throws a kick and snaps her leg in half type deal, you know? Like you can play some Martinez in super large fields just for that eventuality. Like some shit happens.
It's a fight. You never know what
like,
can happen.
Anything can happen. But personally, I'm really not going to be investing too much in Martinez.
Yeah. I mean, chat saying she needs 120.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough. And yeah, she might need 120. Honestly, that might be what she get. I'm just saying she definitely has the ability to get 120. You just need it. You need it to play out. Like there's two ways that plays out. You know what I mean? And the first way is the win bonus is tough with Klein. It's definitely a lot easier for like you said, Vitor Petrino. I don't like him as a fighter, but like it's way easier for him to probably get the win bonus than it is for Klein to get the win bonus. That's just the facts. But I'm just saying, I think the ownership discount is going to come with it. So I like it. And I do think she scores from a pick six side. I do think she gets over 100.5 fantasy points. So I would like the more on Fatima Klein here. And probably is getting over 2.5 takedowns if you think this doesn't finish. So I think those are good props. Dan, let's move to the next fight on the card. It's funny how on the pick six line, it's not the same as the DK from the fight perspective. We got Mike Davis 9,800 versus Mitch Ramirez 6,400 on DraftKings, and Mike Davis is one of the other studs. That's one of the studs that I think a lot of people are saying if you're going to spend all the way up, Dan, play Mike Davis, don't play Fatima Klein. And I do like Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis is really talented. What are you doing here with Davis and Ramirez?
I'm definitely going to have more Davis than Klein just because Davis has more ways to get there in an extended fight. Like, I think the thing with Klein is she gets one takedown, it might be a wrap, you know? Like, I don't see Martinez getting back up and Klein racking takedowns. I mean, I guess it could happen, but I just don't see it.
If Mike Davis gets one takedown, it could be a wrap.
It could be, but I actually think that Ramirez has a better chance of actually like getting up. So, I mean, I think Davis finishes the fight fairly quickly, but if he doesn't,
see, the problem though is when you try to get up like you're talking about, that's where mistakes are made and people catch you. You know
Davis
what I mean?
Also,
so that's the thing.
Davis also throws way more strikes on the feet and on the ground. So that also just like helps with his ceiling so much. I just think he has more ways to get to a smash score, and also, you know, with Klein, I'm not really thinking early knockout. With Davis, early knockout is fully on the table. So quick win bonus is fully on the table. I just think Davis has a ton of upside. And as long as they don't repaint the locker rooms beforehand, like I think you should really come out here.
You think those paint fumes got to him? You think the paint got to him?
A lot of people said that the paint fumes got to them, you know, and like I don't really love excuses, but have you ever huffed paint before?
I mean, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the paint caused them to just pull guard and you know, play around on the ground.
You get high off the paint fumes, you start getting the fucking wah, 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 wah. You don't know what the fuck
you're doing.
Maybe you'll start pulling guard.
I guess I'm gonna have to repaint my house and then get into a fight and see. We'll see or something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I
so
spent my youth
you like Mike Davis,
so I know.
so So you like Mike Davis here. Where's he rank in your 9K rankings? Is he towards the top? Is he kind of like in the middle? I think most people probably have him up
So like
towards the top.
upper 9K, like 95 and up. So that's more Petrino, Davis, and Klein. I've got Klein ranks out a little bit ahead of Davis just on ownership. But I mean, it's Davis for me. Davis projects better. I'm going to have a bit more of him. He's going to be more owned, but he's got so much upside. He's got the finishing upside. He's got wrestling and grappling upside. And he will just fill up the stat sheet against lower level competition. He's been doing it his entire UFC run. Ran into a bit of a wall with ZM last time out, but I think he gets back on track here. Rolls.
Yeah, I pick 6 wise. I like the control time for Mike Davis, 230. I think he can get that easily. As long as he doesn't get that quick win bonus, I think he's getting 230 very easily. So I like the control time for Mike Davis. Seems kind of a low number, but also, that's in terms that he doesn't end it quick. Exactly. Yeah. So that's going into it. But Mitch Ramirez, you're going to sprinkle a little?
I'll probably sprinkle a little. I'm probably going to go Ramirez over Martinez. And just because, Martinez, he throws with power, so he could catch Davis just like anybody could catch anybody. But he definitely has the power to knock Davis out. And he's got some wrestling. So again, I'm kind of in the mode of thinking possible loser in the winner today. So Ramirez, he's able to scramble, maybe get a takedown or 2 of his own, land some strikes. Mitch with like 20 points and a loss could be optimal at 64.
Yeah, I mean, the question is just like, do you like dogs on this card or not? I do think there's dogs on this card that have good chances to pull out wins. The favorites are not all world beaters either. I mean, you just brought up Vitor Petrino. He's not very good, but he's got like the best odds on the card to finish inside the distance. It's just like, I'm not saying Austin Lane is good either. He's terrible too, but it's just like, we have guys like that on the card that, it's like, could Austin Lane figure out a way to win a split decision? Like, it wouldn't shock me or something like that.
I think Lane would probably needs to land a bomb.
Maybe
early.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll get to that fight next. Let's go to the next fight though. Walter Walker, 7,400, coming off of 2 submission victories here versus Kennedy and Chuck Wu. Kennedy 8,800 on DraftKings here. Walter Walker sitting like a plus, I think like 160 underdog on DraftKings right now. I do think, he has a path, Dan. So this is like the first dog where it's like, I can see where like he at least has the edge, when you talk about like wrestling, grappling, striking and stuff like that. Kennedy's going to be looking for the power shots and stuff. Walter's going to be looking for the wrestling upside. So it just kind of depends on, how you see this fight going. Do you think Walker can get this fight to the ground? If so, I don't know if he's going to get like the quick finishes like he's been getting, but it's not like Kennedy's been fighting great fighters either. He's won his last 2. What are you doing here with 8,800 Kennedy and Chuck Wu versus 7,400 Walter Walker?
Yeah, let's see what I got here. It looks like in my initial runs, I'm getting kind of to the field with Kennedy and Chuck Wu, but I think I'm probably going to be coming in a bit under on him just because for 8,800, his finishing odds aren't quite as good as the people around him, and you're not really getting too much of an ownership discount on him. But he's definitely the far superior striker in this matchup. He's going to have a massive advantage on the feet. He's also got pretty solid wrestling and grappling defense, so I think he's going to be able to keep it standing. He's basically a knockout or bust option here. So am I going to be able to get to the field with him? Probably not, but he's definitely super viable. I'm not going to be actively trying to shy away from him at all just because the advantage on the feet is so pronounced. And I think he can neutralize what Walker does best pretty well. And then on the other side, I have the same amount of interest in Walker. Like, he's going to be really owned. Obviously, he's coming off 2 straight submission wins, 2 heel hooks at heavyweight, which is pretty funny. But this is definitely a step up in competition for him. I don't think it's going to come easily. His inside the distance number has been getting wider and wider. So I think that's indicative of something, obviously. But 7,400, he's got submission upside. He's got wrestling and grappling upside. He's definitely in play. I'm just going to be coming in under this fight. Just going to be coming in under the field on this fight, but I still like it.
Yeah, I like this fight too. I think this is a good fight to target for DFS. You know, I'm on the Kennedy side from a bet perspective. I do think that he wins this fight, but again, I'm not saying like it's 100%. Like Walter does have a path where he can also win the fight. So I do think from a DFS side, you can play both sides of this. You can play the dog or the favorite. You know, I'm gonna be betting Kennedy though, me personally. Dan, are you betting this fight?
Yeah, who am I betting? No, I think I probably stay away from this one. If anything, maybe I would bet Kennedy inside the distance, but I think that was like plus 140 right now.
That's what I'm betting. So
yeah, I might bet Kennedy inside the distance, but other than that, I'm just gonna stay away.
Yep, I like it here. Let's go to the next fight here. Lauren Murphy, 6,700 versus Eduardo Mora. Mora, 9,500. Another big price tag for a female here. And she has not got it done, Dan, from that price tag. The last two fights she's had, she scored 66 in a win and 46 in a loss. Obviously, she does have takedown and control time upside here. She's fighting the vet and Lauren Murphy. You know, the question is just, I do think this fight probably goes to the cards. So can she do enough in the wrestling and grappling to get a big score is the question. Like, do you think she has that upside to get you the score you need, which is probably like between 115 or between like 110 and 120 in that range?
Yeah, I don't think she can get there in a decision. We saw last time out against Hardy. She was smashing the first two rounds, and then she pushes such a heavy wrestling and grappling pace early that if she doesn't get the finish, she tends to gas towards the end of the fight. So, you know, again, she was on her way to smashing against Hardy, and I had a ton of her. I was psyched the first two rounds. I was like, this is gonna be a dope score. And then she just did nothing in the third round, ends up with a 66. I'm in tears. But like Murphy is actually a pretty tough matchup. Like there's a huge age gap here, and this is her retirement fight, which I never like to back anybody who's outright saying this is their retirement fight, but she's tough, man. Like she's not going to go away. So really, when I look at Mora as a fantasy play, it's tough because you need the early finish, but Murphy has never been submitted, and she's only been TKO'd one time, and that was by Valentina Shevchenko in like a fourth round ground and pound TKO, you know? So she's tough. Mora's not going to be able to just get her out of there. And I actually have quite a bit of interest in the Murphy side for fantasy because she's 6,700. I could totally see her picking up like a split decision win. But even if this just goes to decision and it's competitive, she has shown time and again that she lands a good amount of striking volume, and she'll wrestle too. Like a win for Murphy probably comes with some takedowns and like a good amount of striking volume. So like if she wins, that's 70 to 80 points. If she loses, that's, you know, like 50, 40 points, which may be enough at 6,700. Again, like I just want to jam as many of these super high upside options in the top range as I can.
Yeah, and you know, obviously she's lost some of her last fights, but like the level of competition definitely she has fought is much better than Mora. And could Mora go out there and wrestle herself to a gassing out? Like that's also possible too. And Murphy's not going to quit. She's not a quitter. So I do think she's a dog you can sprinkle. Like honestly, you know, I do think Mora probably wins the decision. Probably wins the first two rounds, and then whatever happens in the third round outside of her just death gassing, you know, Murphy probably loses and it's her last fight. But I do think she is a dog you can sprinkle some of at 6,700.
Yeah, I'm going to use her. Like, I'm probably going to have like 25%. That's what it looks like right now. Maybe I'll like get off the show and come to my senses and play someone else a little heavier. But I think she does. I think she has paths to land a lot of striking volume here, especially against an opponent who gasses late.
It's interesting though. Like I was just running my stuff, and I'm gonna be over on Mora too. Probably the ownership is probably what's pushing her. She's probably, I assume, Dan, she's going to be a little lower owned again.
Yeah, Mora, she's going to be at 23% is what I have her at now. And I'm actually, at the moment, I'm coming in under on that. Just, I think this is a bad matchup for her, and she's expensive. So
yeah, it's like you're overpaying for someone who you probably know is a bad play, just flat out,
yeah.
but you're hoping the ownership just like tanks.
Yeah, I mean, she still projects well, you know, so I think I don't think she's going to be all that low owned. You know, I think she probably hits the 20s. So
maybe if she's not going to be low owned, then I might have to manually change that.
Like that,
drop her down.
That Hardy spot, like that was a pretty smash spot for her. You know, it's like Hardy, she's just like a low volume striker. I guess she's pretty decent defensively, but like, that was a spot where I was like, yes, shot. And
yeah,
it was like a 75. She was an underdog then. Now she's 9,500 in a tough matchup. I don't like it.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, it's one of those things. I don't know if you have a take on like the lines here. Fantasy points 8,800 for Mora. Fantasy points 44.5 for Murphy. Do you like a more or less on any of these from a pick six perspective?
Not really. I mean, I would probably go less on Mora just because I don't know. I think Murphy can do enough to like neutralize her. Again, Murphy has not looked good, but she's getting beat by Jessica Andrade and Valentina Shevchenko. So
yeah, and her control timeline is sitting at 5.5. That's a solid line right there. That's a lot of control. I do think she could get that control time. That is a lot of control time for sure to ask for. So, and there's no takedown line right now. So I probably would have liked the takedown line more than the control time. Line? I don't know I think 2.5 maybe.
Yeah. See, I would have taken more on that.
Yeah, but, if you can, if you see like a takedown line for over 2.5, I like that from a props perspective with Mora. I think that's a decent prop to check out here for pick six. So, or for betting purposes, anyways. But all right, that's enough here. Let's go to a more closely lined fight where the line is definitely caving in towards the Jake Matthews side here. I saw him. He was plus 130, I think yesterday or later in the night yesterday. He's now sitting at plus 114 on DraftKings. The line is moving towards him right now. It's one of those fights on DK2, Dan, 8K, 8,200. You know, people like these closely lined 8K, 8,200 fights here. Yeah. Cheaty, 8,200 coming off of 3 straight wins. A finish in his last fight. He's had 99 and 100 fantasy points in his last 2 fights here. And Jake Matthews, kind of a little opposite. Like his last fights, he's won his last 2, but they were decision fights. And, he didn't score as well, 64 and 77 fantasy points. But I do think this is a fight where I don't know if necessarily it goes to the cards, but I do think we see even if it does go to the cards, I think we see 3 rounds of this fight playing out on the feet. I think we see a lot of striking and Cheaty's been hurt in some of the fights he's won. Jake Matthews is, in my opinion, just a real solid fighter, Dan. I wouldn't say like he's amazing at anything, but I think he's like real solid. He's got decent striking. He's got decent grappling and wrestling when he wants to use it. So, and then Cheaty's obviously, I think ultra talented. He just, he has ups and downs like some fighters do. And, you know, so it's interesting from a DFS side. I'm going to be in on this fight. I'm definitely going to have both sides, but I'm checking in more on the Jake Matthews side from a betting angle. I do think with the line moving towards him, I'm going to probably bet Jake Matthews here. Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm going to do Jake Matthews as well. This fight, it is like one of these cheaper mid-range fights, 8,200, 8K flat. Cheaty projecting for 31% ownership. Jake Matthews, 27%. This fight is actually favored to go the distance. It's like minus 140 to go the distance. So I agree with you. Like, I think this one goes to decision. Cheaty is basically finish or bust here because he doesn't really throw enough striking volume and he doesn't wrestle or grapple offensively. So like his path to a really good score here is a knockout. Jake Matthews, I believe, has been finished, maybe knocked out maybe one time, if that. And that was like 10 years ago. Yeah, let's see here.
He got
submitted in 2016. But I'm talking about like knockouts here. So he's only been knocked out once, all the way back in 2016. And it wasn't even at distance. It's like a ground and pound finish. So extremely durable. And Matthews is going to have a pretty pronounced wrestling and grappling advantage if he chooses to use it. Like, the problem with Matthews, he's a super well-rounded fighter, really skilled, good fighter, but just doesn't really seem to come in with any kind of game plan. Like, he doesn't attack his opponent's weaknesses. Like, if he comes out, I
think his game plan, Dan, is fight.
Yeah.
Like, literally just like switch, flip, fight.
Yeah.
Let me just fight.
It's very dumb because if he wanted to come out here and wrestle and grapple Cheaty, he could probably cruise to a win and score really well doing it. But it's like, you know, depending on fighters to fight smart and follow a good game plan. Like, a couple weeks ago, we had one of the lowest IQ fucking cards I've ever seen in my life. And I got absolutely hammered because fighters were just doing stupid shit. And that's just been Jake Matthews' MO his entire UFC tenure. So
you never know though, Dan. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of fighters out there who, like, they go in with a game plan, but when, you know, the cage closes and that fight starts, they just kind of go blank.
Yeah, that's just poor
let's
ring
go.
IQ, you know? I mean, like, whatever it is, it's like, you know, some people can't take a test. It's like they study really hard and then you sit down and you get the questions in front of you and you're like, shit, I forgot everything. I guess some people are like that with fighting. So Matthews might be like that.
So you're making a good point to why I like this significant strike line right now. It was 42.5 when it opened yesterday. It was one of the lines I dropped in the DraftKings Discord. I do think Jake Matthews over. If you think this fight goes to the cards, and I do think this fight is a fight that stays on the feet, Dan, I think he definitely gets over the 43.5 in a decision. So I like that as a bet for pick 6.
Let's do that. I think he does I think he's going to try and stand for a bit, which would be a big mistake. Like, I think that is the best case scenario if you're going to play Cheaty. Like, you want Matthews to come in there and stand because, like, we talked about Matthews' durability, and he has been very durable, but, like, he's also been hurt and knocked down before. So there's definitely the possibility, like, you know, you're really durable until you're not. You know, you go so long without being knocked out until someone comes around and knocks you out. And Jake Matthews has fought he's got, you know, nearly 30 pro fights. That's a lot of fucking wear and tear, man. That's a lot of wear and tear. So
and Cheaty does have he's got the pop. You know what I mean? Like, he can definitely
got nasty clinch strikes, nasty knees and elbows. Like, he can really fuck you up. Like, they don't call him Cheaty Bang Bang for nothing, dude. So I'm not gonna fade either of these guys, but to me, they're coming in higher owned than they should because of their price. Just like if you look at their finishing odds, it's like if this goes the full 15, I don't want Cheaty. I might be happy with a Matthews win if it goes the full 15, but not.
The problem is if it goes the full 15, but it stays on the feet, I still think it's kind of an exciting fight. I don't think it's going to be a boring fight, which means I think you see volume. So in a decision with striking volume, could these guys get there? I think they could.
They could, but neither of them are really volume guys. It's like Cheaty, he's averaging just under 5 like significant strikes landed per minute.
Yeah, but
Jake
kind of like look at who Jake's fought. Literally, look
also
at who
pretty
Jake's
defensively
fought. Like his
sound.
last.
They don't get hit a lot. So
Look at though, like Jake's fought Prado, Rowe, Morales, Flowers. His last 4 fights, like those aren't guys like Phil Rowe. You know what I mean? Like stay at distance, pop.
yeah.
You kind of need a partner to trade with you. And Cheaty's definitely one of those guys that, depending on who he's in there with, like look at the Gooden fight, like in a decision, 105 significant strikes, like. He can definitely, when he wants to.
That fight is a pretty big outlier, though. I mean, you're typically not really seeing him. He's going to decisions and not topping 70 strikes. 44 strikes here. I mean, those are in losses. I tend to think that striking volume from the Gooden fight was more of an outlier than anything. I actually don't. I remember, he threw 207 strikes.
It was a ton of
more than he ever throws. I don't think they will get here in a decision. Also, just because, like, if you look at this range, they're 8,200 and 8K. They're sandwiched between Garcia and Qatar. I'd much rather play either of them. Tafa and Tokos would much rather play either of them. Kennedy and Walker. I think I probably prefer either of them. So it's just a question of who I'm prioritizing, and it's not this fight. I'm not going to. I don't fade anything, but I'm definitely coming in on under.
That's fair. I'm definitely going to be a little higher on this fight. Let's go to the next fight on the cards. Chris Curtis, 9,100 versus Max Griffin, 7,100 on DraftKings. Chris Curtis coming off of back-to-back losses against, better competition, obviously.
He got robbed too.
I did too.
But the Brendan Allen fight, I thought he won that fight. I bet him, so I might be a little biased, but I thought he won.
I definitely didn't bet him against my boy Kopylov, but I did think that he had a good argument to win the fight versus Brendan Allen. I'm with you. Now he gets Griffin, who is another guy who's pretty durable for the most part, Dan. Like, he got submitted in the 3rd round versus Chiesa, but he's not going to have to worry about like grappling like from Chris Curtis' side. Like, so it's going to probably be a mainly standing fight. So I do think this is another fight that probably goes to the cards here. I don't know if either of these guys finish one another. So from that standpoint, I don't know if it's going to get there from a DFS side if Chris Curtis is winning a decision, 9,100. But he can, rack up the volume at the price tag. The question is, he needs to get me like probably at least 100 at least.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's getting there. So I'm not as high on him. I'd more take a chance on the dog from a DFS side, just because he's 7,100, and I do think he's got a shot in this fight. So I'm more on the dog as opposed to the favorite in this fight here. Where are you at?
Yeah, for DFS, I'm definitely going to be playing more Griffin. I'm going to have, like, Curtis might be one of my lowest owned guys. He generally, he doesn't wrestle or grapple, right? He throws decent volume, but he's pretty dependent on early knockouts to score well. And the key word there is early, because he can get like these 3rd round knockouts where, he's not like a murderous power puncher. He's getting these knockouts just by drowning, like by attrition. Like, he's landing a ton of volume on you and you're eventually just like dead, in the 3rd round. And that doesn't really score that well. And it's not going to score well enough at 9,100, especially not on this slate that's like so stacked with all these good finishing odds. So I have very little interest in Chris Curtis here. He could get there, like maybe late round 2 type deal, but it's not something that I'm going to be too invested in. On the other side, Griffin, like a lot of these dogs, like, he's cheap and he has paths to win. He's got good wrestling. He throws with some power. I think he's the rightful dog, but just looking at this slate, a guy who can win at 7,100, and he's not going to be owned either, considering he's going to be like pretty under owned for how much win equity he has at his price. So I'm going to be pretty heavy on Griffin. I think he unlocks a lot, and will also go pretty long way to getting you unique.
Yeah, I do like the significant strike line. It was 69.5 for Chris Curtis yesterday when it opened. There's another thing I dropped in the DraftKings Discord. 71.5 now. That's moving up a little bit, but I do think he can get over that in a 3-round decision. So from a prop perspective, definitely. I do like that. Definitely. But I agree with you on Max Griffin. He's going to be low owned, and 7,100 chance to win. I don't hate it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't think he has particularly high upside because his inside the distance line is round one number. Like, they're pretty bad, like plus 550 and 1,200 respectively. Like, he's most likely not getting the finish here, but a decision win that comes with some wrestling and grappling, 70 to 80 points, like 7,100, that'll do it.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Junior Tafa, not Justin Tafa, Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tokos. Tokos sitting at 7,600, I think, on DraftKings. Junior Tafa sitting at 8,600 right now. I think Tokos is around like a plus 150 underdog on DraftKings or somewhere around there, 140, 150. And I do think he has a path here. I mean, Junior Tafa is not very good in general. Like, he's got power just like his brother, but coming down to this weight class, I don't know, Dan. I know he cut weight. He looked good. But I'm just not as high on Junior Tafa. I think he needs like the quick knockout. Yes. And if he does, like, he can definitely do it, but I do think Toko showed against a more well-rounded striker in Sterling, who's like way more well-rounded than Junior Tafa, that he can hang around. Not saying he's amazing at anything, but he can take a shot and he can go with it. So I think Tokos can survive enough to where Junior Tafa's not scoring enough to beat me, is my point. So I'm going to be heavier on the Toko side for DFS, and probably take a chance on him as a dog from a betting angle too. So I'm more on the Toko side, low on the Junior Tafa side. Where are you at?
I'm on the Toko side as well. I have a little bit of hesitation because I just looked at the lines and it looks like this line is cratered towards Tafa at minus 180. Yeah, minus 180 now. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think maybe a little too much is being made of the fact that now he's down at light heavyweight and people are like, oh my God, you see the shape this guy is in? It's like, yeah, okay. Like, he lost some weight, and that's probably indicative of, training more, maybe taking things a little more seriously. And like, those are all things you like to see, but like, I don't know if it's necessarily indicative of like him having improved his takedown defense or grappling defense. And Tokos, again, another super low level guy, but like you said, in that fight against Sterling, he shot 9 takedowns, got 3 of them. Like, he knew he had no business standing and striking with Sterling. So he tried to wrestle, he tried to grapple. And that's something that like I actually really like about Tokos, is if you watch his fights, it's very clear that like he comes in with a game plan and he sticks to it. He attacks his opponent's weaknesses, and Tafa has massive holes in his wrestling and grappling. So I think Tokos is super live to win. I think he's got like, I just really like what Tokos brings to the table in this particular matchup. And
I'm with you. And I got a question for you, Dan. So he got 3 takedowns in his last fight.
Yeah.
If he gets 1 takedown, is Tafa getting up? Seriously, serious question. If Tafa's flat on his back, is he getting up? I don't think he is.
Not. Maybe when the round ends.
That's when he gets up. That's when he gets up. So it's like, if he's shooting 9 takedowns and pressing on the gas tank, this is the other thing too. Yeah, he dropped all this weight, but man, like, if someone's shooting on you like that, that gets tiring. So like, if he doesn't get him out early, it could be one of those spots where he just gasses out from Tokos just being relentless. Even if he's not getting the takedown, it's just something else to think about. And it just gets annoying at a certain point when someone's like just friggin' hugging your legs and trying to rip you down to the ground. Like, so that's one thing. I'm kind of with you. I think a fun prop, Tokos. If you do like the Toko side, submission at plus 500, I think is interesting. You know, I like a nice plus money submission prop here, Dan. So plus 500, you know, if he does get him flat down, you know, Tafa's not going to know what he's doing down there. And I think Tokos will have a nice big advantage. So we're both pretty aligned on this fight here.
Tokos might actually be like, he might actually be my favorite dog outside of Lewis, just because he has a clear path to win, and that path scores really well on DraftKings. So,
yep. Yeah, I agree. He's definitely a dog I'm going to be over on here. Where am I at on? Yeah, I got like 45% Tokos. So I think that's probably, where's he coming in at right now, Dan?
Let's see. I got Tokos down at 22% only,
so
which I love.
Double the field. Double the field.
Yeah. Tafa I've got at 20%. So I'm gonna be coming in over on both, or no, sorry, Tafa at 30%. I'll probably be a little under on Tafa and over on Tokos. This is like a great setup for me. It's like when I love the dog and he's gonna be lower on than the favorite. Like, I love loading up on it.
Yep.
So, I'm not buying the weight loss narrative at all.
And still, too, you still got to test the tank once he gets in there, right? Like from all the weight drop and stuff. He's not used to doing that, so we'll see what happens. But let's go to the next fight here. Vitor Petrino minus 650 on DK Sportsbook right now. Austin Lane plus 470. Petrino's 9,600 on DraftKings. Lane 6,600. Both guys not very good, honestly. Vitor Petrino is definitely talented, but coming off of back-to-back losses, getting finished, too, by Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacoby here, one by submission, one by knockout. Dan, you said it, like he's got the best inside the distance number, correct, on this card, I think, or one of the best?
By like a wide margin, too. He's I think like he's minus 500 to win inside the distance. I believe the next.
So I would assume he ends up being a lot of people's favorite fighter to spend up for, outside of like TEIXEIRA, like the main event.
Yeah, he's projecting for like 35% ownership, which is definitely the highest in the upper 9K range. And I really can't argue with it, man. I mean, definitely coming off tough back-to-back losses, but to Dustin Jacoby and Anthony Smith, which obviously Anthony Smith isn't who he once was, but he can still lock up a gilly on you, man. And Dustin Jacoby, he's a fucking badass kickboxer, dude. Like, he's no fucking joke. I think we backed Jacoby in that spot. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember.
I know I did. I think you did too.
Good. Good. That was clearly the right call.
I think we said Petrino sucks, is what we said, and we can't trust him after getting subbed by Anthony Smith. So,
and he does, but Austin Lane sucks just that much worse, man. Austin Lane is on a CTE Hall of Fame fucking speed run currently, dude. This guy just gets knocked out brutally. Like, you know, he's probably got some brain injuries from football as well, but it's just a real bad time for him, man. He goes out there, chin straight up in the fucking air, just asking to get torched. And I think that's what happens here. Like, I'm gonna have some Lane too, regrettably, because he's super cheap and it's heavyweight, dude. Like, if they come and meet in the middle and start swinging, you know, it could just come down to who gets touched first, and it could be Petrino. So, got to play some Austin Lane here. Unfortunately, he's going to be super low owned, which helps. I have him at like 10%. So not going to be too hard to get over on that. But yeah, man, I think Petrino is the play here. I think this one probably should end in under a minute.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm going to be coming in under on Petrino just with would you say 35%? I'm probably going to be a little lower on that. Just from an ownership standpoint, the fact that I know he stinks, I know his opponent stinks too, but like That it's
That's
just more of a take.
really what it comes down to is Austin Lane is just, man, he's just
bad. He's bad. And he gets knocked out a lot is the thing.
UFC
Like,
is
he gets knocked out a lot.
very clearly, they are like desperate for Petrino to pick up a win and get back on track. This is like,
the thing with Petrino is, though, Dan, is he's a little more patient. And like maybe Lane just counters that. In my head, though, I'm like, okay, if Lane can like get out of the first round, I think I'm okay in that standpoint. Like, you know what I'm saying? So 9,600. I do think if he gets like a first round finish, he's probably going to be pretty good chance to be optimal, right, Dan? In that scenario?
First round finish, yeah, because it's coming with a knockdown. Because when Austin Lane gets knocked out, he falls flat on his fucking face, dude. Like, this guy gets knocked out.
Let me pull this.
It's kind of fucked up. I kind of hope that this is like the last time we see.
94.5 is his fantasy line right now, Dan. Which is lower by a decent margin from like Mike Davis at 102, Fatima Klein at 100.5. I'm not sure what like Bonfim and some of those other guys around him are. Bonfim 91. Do you like that line over? Do you like the over on that?
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, like his round one number is plus 125. That's like a 44% implied probability that he wins in the first round. I think that could honestly be a little higher. I do not see this one making it to the second round.
Yeah,
I hope I'm not eating my words later when Petrino is just like leaning up against the cage.
I just don't trust Petrino. I'm probably gonna lose because this dude Austin Lane does get knocked out like really bad.
Honestly, but, Petrino with his finishing metrics, like he should probably be higher, and people probably just don't trust him. Like
maybe. That you're probably right. There are definitely people like me who probably, but also a lot of people look at the inside the distance numbers, Dan, and when you're so much higher than everyone else, like people throw that to the side a little bit. And he is, I mean, minus 280 on DraftKings to win by KO. So
yeah, he's got the best finishing odds by a wide margin for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight. A little fun fight here. Morgan Charrier, 8,900 versus Nate the Train Landwehr, 7,300 in his hometown too, right, Dan? I think he's from Nashville.
Yep,
I think if I remember correctly, and 7,300. Nate Landwehr. He's always one of those dogs, like, I'm cool with backing because I just know what I get with him. He's going to go out there. He's going to try and have a fun fight, get the crowd going. The crowd's going to be going nuts. And, I mean, he's good. Like, honestly, like the Choi loss, I did bet Choi in that spot there. I did like Choi there, but Choi's good. I think Choi's a good fighter. He's had some pretty solid wins, and then losing to Dan Ige, that's not, Dan Ige's really good. You know what I mean? So I think Nate Landwehr is a solid fighter. He probably punches up a little bit with some of these wins, Dan, as in he's probably not the better fighter sometimes, but that happens in MMA. Like sometimes the better overall fighter doesn't always win. And I think Nate Landwehr just has that dog in him.
Yep.
And honestly, Morgan Charrier, I don't know if he does have that. He's definitely the more talented guy, but I don't know if he has that dog in him. Maybe it's just my I backed him in his last fight against Nathaniel Wood, and that was really wrong. Like he was just slower to the punch everywhere. Like Wood was just way faster than him and beat him to every spot. So maybe I have a bias from that fight there, but I'm probably going to bet Nate Landwehr at plus 215 on DraftKings. I like taking shots on dogs like him, and it's not like it's the first, Nate Landwehr, big dog, and he comes out there and he wins. So I'm on Nate here from a betting side and a DFS side. I do think that it's a good fight for DFS because of the way Nate fights. I think that brings out a big score for someone in this fight. So I like this fight for DFS. I think you can play both sides, but I'm heavier on Nate. Where are you at?
Yeah, both sides of this fight are interesting to me, and it's really comes down to what Nate.
Just
really
say you hate the French, JSU. Fine, I hate the French. Okay, I just said it. I hate the French.
Fuck Cyril Gane. We fucking hate Cyril
Oh,
Gane.
actually, I might actually hate the French. I forgot about Cyril Gane. I might actually hate the French. Keep going.
Cyril Gane sucks. Anyway, yeah, it's really just about what Landwehr brings to the table here. Like, he moves forward, he wings bombs, he's aggressive, and like that's what you love to see, man. He aggressively pursues finishes. Yeah, I mean, it's just his style, what he brings to the table. It's very much like kill or be killed, and he is killable, and he can kill. So, like, this significantly raises my interest in Charrier because this is probably the best inside the distance line we've ever gotten on Charrier at plus 155. It's usually considerably weaker because he is more measured. He doesn't throw a lot of volume. He doesn't wrestle or grapple, so pretty reliant on an early knockout to score well, especially at 8,900 this week. And then, yeah, I mean, like the Landwehr side, I just love it. He's a fucking dog, man. He comes at you. He can get knocked out. He can definitely get knocked out, but like he is going to come forward and try to knock you out first. And, you know, Charrier, Cage Warriors guy. I say it all the time. I fucking hate Cage Warriors guys. Charrier is likely never. I mean, he got beat up pretty good against Nathaniel Wood, who is also a dog. But I think Landwehr is maybe even a bit more of a dog here. You know, current former M1 kickboxing champion. He's got skills. Someone I think is getting finished here. I'm going to be on both sides. Maybe not. Landwehr looks like he's going to be pretty popular. I'm probably going to get out around the field with Landwehr. Maybe get a little over on Charrier.
Are you betting anyone on this spot, or are you staying away from the betting side?
Let me see who we got here. I think I might take Charrier's inside the distance line at plus, what is it now on DK? Charrier's inside the distance line on DK is plus 175, actually.
Wow.
So
that's pretty good for him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the BetOnline has plus 155, so DraftKings hashtag DK partner, they're a little slower to move on some of these lines. So you can pick off some bad lines on DK. And this looks like one of them. So I think, yeah, 175 inside the distance for Charrier is good. He's younger, he's quicker. That's the thing, is like Charrier definitely has the benefit of being the quicker, more explosive fighter. So Nate is going to come forward. He's going to leave himself. He fights a little recklessly. He's going to leave himself open to shots. And Charrier, I think, connects and puts him out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think we're going to see someone go down in this fight. So that's why it's, like you said, it's a good fight to maybe play some of both sides in DFS, and then, you know, either bet the inside the distance line for Charrier or Nate Landwehr, just money line. I mean, plus 700 for Nate Landwehr by KO is an interesting prop too. I won't lie. Charrier is not the easiest guy to finish, I will say, but 700 seems pretty big. So I like that.
Charrier's been submitted, never knocked out, and Charrier has fought a lot. He's got 32 pro fights, so pretty fucking durable. Cage Warriors or not.
Yeah, he's definitely durable. It's probably more just a money line spot if you like the Nate side here. Let's go to the next fight. Yeah, 8,400 versus Calvin Kattar, 7,800. Dan, another one of those kind of closely lined fights. You know, Steve Garcia sitting like minus 125, Calvin Kattar plus 105 here. And I think this is one of those fights where I do think a lot of people like the dog spot in Calvin Kattar, being that he's fought the better fighters, even though he's been losing his last 4 fights, right? Those are against, you know, really solid fighters here. And Steve Garcia has kind of been doing the opposite. He's been running through solid fighters, maybe not the level, though, of the guys that Calvin Kattar has fought. And a lot of
Garcia's wins have aged very well.
They have. I mean, Costa, Choi, you know, Hooper. Yeah, I mean, even
being able to
Nelson
get
is.
Cal Nelson out of there. Cal Nelson's not very good, but he's pretty durable. If I'm
and he's shown that he can find ways to win in the UFC somehow. So it's like, yeah, it's definitely. So he's running through these guys. Now he gets Qatar. The question is, do we think he can run through Calvin Qatar, or do we think Calvin Qatar, being the level of striker that he is, can withstand and stay somewhat durable and get this fight to go a little longer into the fight, maybe late second or third round, to where, Steve Garcia, who knows what happens in those spots there. He hasn't been to a third round in a bunch of fights. So, what are you doing here, Dan? Is this like a quick fight for you, or do you think Qatar can make this fight a little more lengthy?
Yeah, DFS, I'm going to be heavier on the Qatar side, and it just has a lot to do with, like, Steve Garcia. Fucking love him as a fighter. His fights are awesome. Comes out there, another killer be kill guy. He's ultra violent, doesn't really have much concern for defense. And there kind of in lies the problem, is like he's going against Calvin Qatar, who is super durable. I don't believe he's ever been knocked out at distance. Well, let's see. He's got one knockout. Sorry, I got to refresh my memory here. Oh, yeah. His only TKO loss is the knee injury to Arnold Allen. So never been knocked out at distance. And Garcia, he's super violent and offensive, but defensively, he's super hittable and can also be hurt and knocked out as well. And Qatar, he may be older, he may be slower, he may have a ton of wear and tear on him, but he can still crack, man. So I like Cater here. I like Garcia as well, but his inside the distance line of plus 165 is actually pretty weak in comparison to, Tafa, Kennedy. It's comparable with Chidi and Qatar himself. Cater. So I like going heavier on the Cater side here. It's going to be a really highly owned fight. Obviously, it's, minus 250 to end inside the distance overall. So it's just Garcia at 42% it's impossible for me to get to that. Cater at 28% is a little bit more palatable. I'll probably be under on this fight as a whole, but I definitely favor the Cater side.
Yeah, he's probably the right bet, honestly.
The line has crashed towards him too. This is like a coin flip fight now, and it's just he's so durable, and Garcia is not.
Yeah, that's the question for me. Coming in, I was going back and forth on this fight. It's honestly not a fight that I feel super confident in either way, but I do think the more I think about it, Qatar's probably the bet. And the people out there trying to tell me how to pronounce the name, it's Qatar forever. Okay. All right. You can take that, Angela. All right. Appreciate you watching though, Angela, but take that. Yeah. So, and Qatar's from Boston. That's right. That's a good point, K-Fowles, but damn it. Honestly, I have a bias towards him because Dan, I always bet against him. So I literally have not bet Calvin Qatar in his last however many fights. I think his last 5 fights, and I've lost one of them. So,
well, his last, just to talk about his last few fights, we've got a split decision of Josh Emmett, which he arguably won. We've got a knee injury in the Allen fight. You've got a decision loss to Aljamain Sterling. No shame there. And Yusuf lost to Yusuf Zalal, who has, been on fire ever since he came back to the UFC. So, no shame in any of these losses. And I just think, clearly the line movement, the market thinks so as well. Cater is going to be much more competitive than the opening line would have suggested.
Yeah. All right. You sold me. Let's take it. We're on the Qatar side. Or chat likes to say Cater or whatever. From a DFS side, Dan, I assume this fight, ownership wise, it's going to be higher on Qatar, right?
No, it's high. I've got Garcia sitting at 42% and Cater at 28%. Yeah. Garcia, his recent box scores, let me see here. For one thing, he's 84.
Oh, they're good. They're good.
But one thing there, he's 8,400, and yeah, he's got 110, 108, 95, 94, 133. Like
if he does anything in that box score range of five fights, he's optimal.
Yeah, probably. Although, let me see who's around him. I mean, yeah, most likely, but you still do have you still got Cheaty, you've got Taffa, Kennedy, Matthews.
Yeah. If you like the Garcia side, then the 67.5 point total is an easy over. Well, like if you're on the Garcia side, I think it's an easy over.
Yeah, if Garcia wins, it's gonna have to be a knockout. Like, I mean, he hasn't even made it to the second half of a round 2 in like years now, so I don't see this extending. And
it is interesting though. Look at the difference. Look at the difference in fantasy point line for pick 6. I mean, Garcia is under Qatar by 7. Like, that's interesting right there. I mean, the Cheaty Jake Matthews was like a 2 point. What was it, like a 2 point difference or 1 point? I think it's slightly lean Jake Matthews, like 70-69 or something like that. That's a 7 point difference, and there's a $600 gap in price, right? It's interesting. Yeah. So, all right, that's going to do it here for this fight. Let's get to the second to last fight on the card. Gabriel Bonfim. Bonfim sitting, where is he at? 9,300, I think. Yeah, 9,300 on DraftKings versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Thompson 6,900. Thompson coming off of 2 losses in a row, but 2 absolute killers. Joaquin Buckley and Rachmanov. And, Buckley, he was faring pretty well in that Buckley fight until Buckley just caught him. He was doing pretty well. And the one thing I'll say about Stephen Thompson, a lot of people will talk about like his takedown defense and stuff. First of all, like he's in these fights where they're talking about, he's fighting really good fighters with really good takedowns and relentless takedowns too. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, I mean, Rachmanov, like he made him work Shavkat. Like Shavkat didn't just grab him and throw him to the ground and submit him. If you watch it, like the whole first round, he was pretty much against the cage, but like Thompson was like stopping him. Like he was doing a really good job defending. And then he finally got caught. And that's just the relentlessness of Shavkat. Same thing with like Bilal Muhammad, even the Muhammad fight. Watch that fight back. Like Muhammad didn't just throw him to the ground and hold him down there in the beginning. Like he made him work for takedowns. These are relentless wrestler type of grapplers. Buckley's a little more like he can be relentless when he wants to be, but he doesn't have to be. But even he struggled to hold Thompson down when he got him down. Thompson made him work. And honestly too, Thompson was frustrating him. The counter striking of Thompson was on point in that Buckley fight. He was definitely frustrating him with his style and the counter striking. And Bonfim, he's a really good grappler. He's not as much of like a relentless wrestler though. The only thing that I do worry about with this fight is Thompson does give up his back at times. And you don't want to do that against Bonfim, because if you give up your back, someone like Bonfim can submit you very easily. He's got a ton of submissions on his record. He loves to jump Gilly. I think, Thompson's going to try and keep him at distance as much as possible. If Bonfim can get him down and keep him down, he's got a good shot at submitting him. I just think Thompson's got a real live shot here. He's sitting like plus 330 on the money line. He's gonna be the better. Bonfim's a good striker, but it's more like one shot power, where I think Thompson's going to be able to counter a lot of his big shots. It's just a question of, can he throw enough big shots to get to the wrestling? Or can Thompson kind of slow the wrestling down and make this like a close decision? I think he can. So I'm gonna be sprinkling a little Thompson money line here, Dan, just for fun. But I get it for the people that like Bonfim here. I just don't know if he's a relentless enough wrestler to continuously go after the ground and pound or submission.
Yeah, I definitely have pace and cardio concerns with Bonfim. Like, we definitely saw him gas out against Nicholas Dalby, which is a really bad look. Sort of opens the door to me. Like, if this fight does extend, Thompson is probably live for a later round finish if Bonfim gasses yet again. He looked better his last time out. But yeah, I favor the Bonfim side here, man. I'm going to bust out the age model. We've got a 15-year age difference here. Thompson is now 42 years old. And the fact of the matter is, Bonfim is just going to be Thompson, he's got that bladed karate style where he keeps his hands down. And that is, defensively, that's predicated on being able to move out of the way and not, you're not really blocking shots as much. You're kind of just trying to get out of the way of the shots. And, 42 years old, speed and reaction time, probably the first thing to go. And all it takes is like a fraction of a second for your reaction time to be gone. And you're getting dusted by Joaquin Buckley in round 3, So his speed, his durability is clearly fading. I mean, he just got knocked out. And every time you get knocked out, it just makes you more prone to being knocked out again in the future. So I really like the Bonfim side here. It's just, at 9,300, minus 145 to end inside the distance. Those are really, really strong numbers. And Bonfim, he probably does kind of know that he doesn't have 15-minute cardio. So one thing that I really do love about Bonfim is that he's super aggressive, and he will he will do everything he can to direct fights to ending outcomes. Like, he really aggressively pursues finishes, which you fucking...
Bro, Angelosa doesn't have a neck, and he was jumping Gilly. Like, this dude is going to try and jump submissions whenever they get close. Like, he is going to try and finish.
And we've had in these past weeks, and I've talked about it on the show a bunch, is like, you have a lot of these fighters who just don't aggressively pursue finishes, and they'll be winning the first round. They'll be winning most of the second round, but they don't get the finish. They start to tire, and their opponent, like, here they come, and they're getting finished. They're dropping the last 2 rounds. They're getting finished in the 3rd round. Like, that may happen to Bonfim, but not for a lack of trying. Like, he is going to try to finish this fucking fight, and I think he can.
Yeah,
on the other side,
I think if you like Bonfim too, you have to believe this. Like, if the fight won't even see the 3rd round.
Yeah, that's the thesis of the play. Absolutely. Thompson on the other side has largely been a knockout or bust fantasy scorer, but he doesn't really knock anyone out. Typically not really interested in Thompson, but at 6,900, at 6,900, it's like plus 334 to win. That's the best win equity in the 6K range. So I think, keep talking about it with these super cheap dogs. I think this is also a situation where just a win could see Thompson be optimal. And this is a really big step up in competition for Bonfim. We already talked about Bonfim's, pace and cardio concerns. So if Thompson can survive and make it to the 3rd round, I think he's got a good shot to maybe even take the last 2 rounds or get a 3rd round finish himself.
Yeah, I like it. Thompson's definitely my highest 6K fighter. Oh, like from a ownership DFS side. So I'm with you. I do think if he can withstand the first round and a half of wrestling from Bonfim, and Bonfim does slow down, it is possible. Because be very clear about this. Like, Stephen Thompson is by far the best striker Gabriel Bonfim has ever fought. Definitely. So, and it's not even close, too. I mean, we're talking about Angelosa, Chaos Williams. Who else is this dude fight? He lost to Nicholas Dalby, who's just a pace and pressure monster, but nothing special. Trevin Job. Like, these guys all get dusted by Thompson. So, and that's at 42. They get dusted by Thompson. So,
Thompson was winning that Buckley fight until he got caught.
No, he was winning the fight, but Buckley. The thing about Buckley is he can just eventually he gets so frustrated and he just like walk, and that's what happened. Don't get it wrong. He caught a kick to the head and got pissed and then just ran through. And instead of going down for a takedown, he went up and caught him with a right on the face. Because like you said, Stephen Thompson has his hands down. Honestly, for multiple, but he always keeps his hands down. And it's like if Bonfim does do something like that, Thompson can catch him if he's like just reckless coming in. Buckley got caught a few times, but finally caught him. But it took him till the third round. So we'll see. His best clear path is to try and just sell out, in my opinion, for the takedowns and just force the wrestling. Thompson will give up his back. Like if it's in terms of getting up, he will do it. And if he does that, I think that's how Bonfim gets him, is he gives up his back if he gets taken down. So
yeah, I think Bonfim's going to come out of the gate hot and just look to swarm him, which is what you want from a DFS play. And like 9,300, you're getting a significant discount from, Petrino, Klein, Davis. And I think he's got a very similar ceiling here. So I love Bonfim. Yep.
All right, let's go to the final fight. The big boys, Derek Lewis versus Taliesin Teixeira. Teixeira sitting 9K on DraftKings. Lewis 7,200 here. And Teixeira has won every single fight, pretty sure by KO and in the first round for all of his 8 fights. This dude coming off of beating Justin Tafa.
He has 1 submission win.
Oh, does he have 1 submission win? Okay. All in the first round, though. Okay, but all in the first round, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So I will say one thing. Like, Teixeira is definitely a bad dude. He's got power. He does have some grappling. Everyone might forget, but when he beat Tafa, he shot a takedown. They got him to the fence, and then he caught him with that elbow, which the knee and the elbow that really got to him. So, this dude's definitely dangerous. He's got a lot of weapons. He's long. The Contender Series fight, the fight before Tafa, just like dude was backing straight up, and he caught him with just 1 shot and put him straight out. So you got to be really careful with this dude. Now he is hittable. That is the one thing going against Teixeira. If you watch the Contender Series fight, he definitely is hittable. And if Derek Lewis gets chances like that dude got in the Contender Series fight, he is very, very live to put Teixeira out. And I do think that Teixeira coming in, I wouldn't be shocked, Dan, if everyone's thinking knock. I wouldn't be shocked if he does the same game plan he did against Tafa. Throw some low kicks, and then all of a sudden just shoot. Just shoot. Force the wrestling, because Derek Lewis wants to fight
stand and bang.
Just standing. So you get him up against the cage, see if you can use your grappling, which he does have grappling. And maybe throw him off. Maybe Lewis comes in thinking they're going to stand and bang, and you shoot instantly. Like, I could see that being a game plan for him. So I do think either way, this fight is going to finish probably early. If this fight gets out of the first round or two, that, in my opinion, heavily, I think heavily leans Derek Lewis. I at least know he's fought in a 5-rounder, 3 rounds. I know he's done that. So I know he can do that. I would assume Teixeira's gas tank probably fades,
we have no
as
idea.
They get through. We have no idea. Yeah, but you would assume so. So, I think this is one of those fights where you probably want to just jam in DFS. The question is, are you going with the favorite or the dog? I'm going to be higher on Derek Lewis. I love Derek Lewis when he's a dog. He's always live, and he always gives you the upside of just the big finish. And at 7,200, if there's a finish, he's going to be optimal.
Knockout king, baby. Yeah, I love Derek Lewis. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's super entertaining. He's fucking great on the mic. Seems like a great dude. I would love to hang out with Derek Lewis. I believe he's 3rd on the list for most finishes in UFC, or maybe it's most UFC fights. In any event, man, yes, this guy, murderous power puncher, can knock anybody out. And like you mentioned off the top, like TEIXEIRA is really hittable. If he lets Derek Lewis like get to him the way that like Jabroni from his fucking Contender Series fight does, he's going to the hospital. And that's like my real hesitation, because like TEIXEIRA, he's got all the skills. Like he's probably more technically skilled everywhere, but Derek Lewis just has the death touch. So to me, this line is pretty wide. It's like pretty disrespectful to Derek Lewis. Like I understand it. I absolutely understand it. But this is such a big step up in competition for TEIXEIRA. And man, I hope if his striking defense is anything like it's looked in these past few fights, like he's going to get murdered. I do like the TEIXEIRA side, though, from a DFS standpoint, just because he does have multiple paths to win and multiple paths that score well. Like he's a BJJ black belt, so he's got wrestling and grappling. We've seen Derek Lewis on his back. You know, Derek Lewis says jiu-jitsu is fake, just get up, but wasn't really able to. We've seen him not really able to do that in the past. So, I mean, TEIXEIRA, he's got a massive height and reach advantage, bombs for hands. This is a really exciting heavyweight prospect. He probably like gets vaulted up into the top 10 real quick with a win over Derek Lewis here. Man, like I wanna be like more 50-50 on this fight, but I think I am gonna lean maybe slightly to the TEIXEIRA side. It's a great fight, man. I mean,
yeah, someone's going out. I think you want to just be heavy on this fight for DF. If you're making multiple teams, you know, if you're making a ton of lineups, I would definitely want to jam this fight. I'll be heavier on the Derek Lewis side. You'll be heavier on the TEIXEIRA side. Definitely going to bet Derek Lewis because plus 260 is just that's silly. Even though I do think TEIXEIRA is really good, and I get why he's favored. It's just that's pretty big.
Knockout number looking like right now?
What, his knockout?
Yeah, because I would just bet him by knockout.
It's plus 300. It's plus 300, but he's plus 260. It's like, you know, just for the outlier chance
he
that
wins
like
a decision.
Derek
Lewis wins a decision. You're ripping up your knockout ticket, like what?
Dude, you're so mad right now. You're like, I was on. Listen,
yeah, Derek Lewis by rear naked choke.
I'm just gonna take the plus 260 and be happy if I win. So I'll do that. But
that's fair.
All right, that's gonna do it for all the fights. Dan, a favorite bet on the card? Do you have a favorite bet for the people?
I'm sure I do. Do you want to go first? Just let me.
Yeah, my favorite bet is Fatima Klein inside the distance, minus 115 on DK. I already bet it, so. Yeah, I like that fight a lot. And pick 6, Chris Curtis over on significant strikes, Mike Davis over on 2.5 minutes of control time. I do really like, and me and Dan both like the over 43.5 significant strikes for Jake Matthews. So a little pick 6 action. Dan, do you have a bet?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jake Matthews money line.
I like it. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this show. If you want to check us out over at Run Pure Sports, we got all the sports going on right now. Summer leagues going on. Still got baseball rolling, MMA, NASCAR, the Golf Streets, getting the Golf Streets. You know, we got it all. So, and I know there's a big golf tournament, I think next week too. So they'll have big prizes on DK. You can use JBC 100K win for a free week. You do have to sign up for the month, or you can use RPS 15 if you just want 15% off. And if not, just hit the like button on the video. We appreciate that as well. You can hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, so you get notified when we go live, whenever that is, for whatever the sport. So that's going to do it here. Dan, appreciate you hanging out. Everyone else, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys again next week. Until then, we're out here. Good luck in your DraftKings DFS and betting.